Hi again, Ms. Burke here. So today you're going to hear from Tia Benvenuti. Tia has several siblings that are at South Lakes and about to come back to Langston Hughes. If you know Damian Snell or Amari Snell, those are her brothers. Was quite well known for being a great all-star player at South Lakes. Mr. Braxton was her coach, so if you want to know more about her and her story, feel free to ask Mr. Braxton if he's your connections teacher. So Tia is going to share with us her story about college, which is quite different from Kahlil's. You're going to see Tia face quite a few more struggles than Kahlil did. So please pay attention and listen to the way that she overcame her struggles. Share in the chat box with your teacher if you face some similar struggles, or maybe if you have some other questions or need help with something like Tia did.
So I'm Tia. I go to Mercer University, which is in Georgia. It's like an hour south of Atlanta. So I went to Langston and I went to South Lakes, and I never liked school, and all I knew how to do was play basketball. I never got good grades. I played varsity all 4 years. I was a starting point guard at South Lakes. And I didn't have a good GPA or SAT score going into college, like applying to college. So basketball kind of helped me get into that. Like I got into a bunch of schools just because I played basketball. So if you're thinking about like not playing a sport, even if you're thinking about playing a sport, like try your best right now in middle school or high school to get your GPA where you want it to be, because I wish I would have done that. So freshman year of college, I got a 2.7 GPA. I got a D in religion and a C in statistics. And then I failed a summer class. So that kind of hit hard. Like I went in thinking, oh, this is going to be a breeze. I play basketball. Everyone's going to know me. Like it'll just be fun. But it was the total opposite. So with basketball, I played basketball my first 2 years. I'm a junior right now, and I stopped playing last year. So I kind of talk about my experience through playing and then like why I stopped playing and all that. So with basketball, we won freshman year. We won SoCon, which is the Southern Conference, which is the conference that our team plays in. So we won SoCon. I was a starting point guard. Like life was great. We went to the NCAA tournament, played Iowa, and we ended up losing by 5, but I mean, it was a great experience. And then through that, I had 2 concussions and I fractured my foot. So that kind of like hit hard for me because I never really like lived life without basketball. So sitting on the sidelines and not going to practice and like being told you need to keep your GPA up, like all you have to focus on is school, was really hard for me because I'm not good at school. So like Kahlil said, when he said that he thought about not playing because he didn't get playing time, I was like the total opposite of that. Like I got all the playing time. I started. Like life looked perfect from the outside. Like we get every meal paid for. We get gear like every month. Free tutors, money every month. Like life just looked amazing from the outside. But on the inside, it was, for me at least, very hard mentally and physically. Like we have weights, conditioning, individuals, study hall, and just a lot. Like it's a lot on top of classes. So I was miserable, depressed. I hated going to practice. I hated playing. There's obviously upsides to it, but me personally, it was just a lot physically and mentally. So last spring, I stopped playing basketball, and it kind of, I don't know, it was definitely hard because I never didn't play basketball. But it helped me like this semester focus on school. I had the best GPA I've ever had. Got my mental health like where I wanted it to be. So currently, I'm majoring in psychology and criminal justice. So I'm on the pre-law track. So I'll be applying to law schools next fall. And when I was playing basketball, I never ever thought about law school because I was like, I do not have time to study for the LSAT. I don't have time to even get an internship. So it's kind of a plus that I stopped playing basketball because I kind of focus on my future more. So I got an internship last semester at a courthouse downtown at my school. So if I play basketball, I definitely wouldn't have time to do that. So there's kind of a plus in it as well. So what else? I kind of go over a schedule. My schedule is kind of the same as Kahlil's. Like in the mornings, we either have weights or conditioning, and then we'll have classes. And then like whenever I have a break between classes, I'll have an individual workout, and then I'll probably go back to class, and then we'll have practice, and then we have study hall right after practice. So it's kind of from like 6, 7 a.m. until you're basically done studying at night, is dedicated to literally just practice and school. So I didn't have time to get a job. I didn't have time to even like hang out with my friends. Like I hung out with the team, but I didn't really have time to do anything and perform how they wanted me to on the court and in the classroom.
Now, Tia, I do believe you had a full scholarship to play, right? So
Yeah.
did you speak to what went with that when you get a full scholarship to go somewhere?
So I'm pretty sure only Division I.
Mm-hmm.
I know some Division II schools that offered me a full scholarship, but it was only like 2 of them. So I'm pretty sure Division I, almost all Division I schools, you'll get a full scholarship. So they pay for all of your school, full tuition. I think my school is like $50,000 a year, which is, I know it's expensive, but it's a private school, so they go crazy. So it was full tuition. We get a stipend of like $500, I think, every semester. And we basically we don't pay for anything at all. Like they give us gear, so that's clothes like shirts, pants, socks, everything. And what else?
Did you have to maintain a GPA?
Yeah, we didn't have to maintain a GPA because I know people on my team who had a bad GPA, and they still have a scholarship. It's just, I think the coaches know it's hard, so they kind of work with us. Like if you have a low GPA, they'll work with you and make study hall mandatory, so that you're getting the time in to study and to get your GPA up. But I've never heard of anyone at my school getting a scholarship taken away because of grades, so I'm pretty sure as long as you are trying to keep it up, that they'll definitely work with you. But I'm sure if it's really low, they'll probably pull a scholarship. But most of the athletes that I know at least try to maintain above a 3.0 in the classroom.
So hold on real quick. Kahlil, are you on full scholarship too?
So I'm on a partial scholarship.
Okay, so that means
so they cover my textbooks, and then they cover any summer schooling, and then cover a good amount of the tuition each semester.
so Tia was an AVID. So can you speak to that experience? How many years were you in it? What strategies did you carry over?
Yeah, I think I was only in it while I was in middle school. I don't think I was in it freshman year of high school, but I remember sometimes thinking like, this isn't gonna help me ever, like taking notes, learning how to study. Because I mean, I never studied in middle school or high school. So of course I took the information and like I paid attention, but I was never like, this is gonna be the thing that's gonna help me in college. But now looking back, it's definitely helpful. Even learning how to take notes from professors. Like if they just stand up there and talk the whole time, like yeah, you cannot take notes if you want to, but once class ends, you're definitely gonna have to talk to them again. So learning how to take notes is definitely a key part in college. It kind of, I don't know, you can't get by without taking notes.
There's still time to get into AVID. Let me know. Let your teacher know if you want to get into AVID.
That's definitely the key part, is taking notes and being active, like going to office hours, making connections with your professors, because once you're applying, if you want to go to grad school, law school, med school, at the end of college, you're going to need letter of recommendation. So even not making connections just to get a good grade in the class, but for your future, like just to show that you're eager to learn to get a good grade. It'll go a long way, especially when you're looking for letters of recommendation, because you're going to need one from professors.
Anaya's questions didn't get answered, so either one of you can kind of jump in and answer these. I'll start with Tia, though, because Anaya says, I was thinking about going into law, but I was wondering what you study in the class.
What I study, do you mean like with my major that I have right now, or like what I'll study in actual law school?
Anaya, use your mic and answer, please.
Find out what you study in law school. Like
You said what I study in law school?
Yes.
So I'm not in law school yet. I have one more year, but from what I've heard, I have a couple friends who are in law school, but I think it's all different. It depends on what type of law you want to do. So there's like corporate law, criminal law, family law. But I'm pretty sure, so there's 3 years and they like call it 1L, 2L, 3L. So I'm pretty sure the first year you just learn overall like court cases. You learn about different practices of law. And then I think on your second year, you kind of go into specifics on what you want to practice, like once you graduate law school. So I don't know specifics of it, but I know once you graduate law school, you're going to have to take the bar exam. So that'll be, I don't know, I've heard it's tough, but that's kind of all I know right now.
All right, go ahead, Yit.
When you like stopped playing basketball, did you have like anybody like supporting that? Did someone like convince you to stop playing basketball, or was like people like holding you back from trying to quit it, or was this all your own decision?
It was all my own decision. Freshman year is always the hardest year, but freshman year, I always tell my assistant coach, my position coach, I was like, this is so hard, I don't want to do it. And she convinced me to stay another year because freshman year is always the hardest year. And I would say it definitely got better in some aspects, but it was just, I don't know, a lot mentally. My friends, my family could see I was very depressed, like I wasn't myself. And then I noticed that. And my coach even had me go to a therapist. She put me on medication. So, I mean, it was a lot, but I didn't even feel myself. And that kind of convinced me, like, what's more important, playing basketball or, like, being okay mentally and physically. So, I don't know. I kind of prioritized my happiness and my mental health over basketball, even though I paid for school. Like I'm finding a way to pay for it right now, but I don't know. I kind of had a lot of support in doing it because people saw that it took a lot out of me. So it wasn't, I don't know. I didn't really have anyone holding me back. Like even my coaches were supportive in it, and they still help me if I need help.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being so open and sharing about all of that, Tia.
Yeah,
I know we definitely.
I know it happens a lot, and like, yeah, I know even some of my teammates it happens too. They just don't really want to like speak up and actually like take that step because I know it's a lot. Like it's your whole life. You just not really throw away, but like it ends. So it is a lot, but.
Hi. But seriously, though, if you're having mental health issues and maybe what Tia said sounds like something that's happening with you right now, please reach out to your teachers and counselors. We want to support you. We know distance learning has been rough emotionally and anxiety wise. So please, if you're feeling anything like what Tia described, you just don't feel yourself, something's not right, please reach out to your counselors or to your teachers.
Kahlil, one of the questions earlier was, do you ever have free time?
So yeah, I do have free time. Back on my schedule, if you remember, it would usually be on like a Monday or a Friday and a Saturday, as long as I got all my homework done. Sundays I'd work again from 9 to 2:30. So there are definitely pockets of free time, but it's not going to be very consistent over. You'll try to find little spots where you can try to do something else.
All right, go ahead, Dev.
This is for Tia. What made school so hard?
What made school so hard for me?
Yes.
You mean in college, right?
Well, middle school, high school, or college. One of them.
Okay. So middle school and high school, I have ADD really bad, so I cannot pay attention to anything at all. So I pay attention to everything I'm not supposed to pay attention to at that time. So that kind of played a factor in it. But I don't know. Like I said, all I knew was basketball. Like all I do is play basketball. I come home from school, I go to the gym. Like I never did homework. So I don't know. I kind of knew that I wanted to play in college, so I kind of dedicated literally all my time to training and getting a scholarship. And I guess that kind of played a factor into why I didn't do as good in school. Like I wasn't the best reader. I'm horrible at math. I don't know. I just didn't really. I don't recommend this. Like I recommend trying and getting good grades, but like personally, I just didn't find a interest in it because I was more focused on basketball.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, AJ's question is, are there any mandatory classes? And AJ, I think I'll kind of address this because it's when you sign, you have to say what you're studying at college, and there's like a list of classes based on what your degree is. So, like, that's the same for everyone. Like, Tia has a different mandatory list than Kahlil because they're studying different things. So that's what the academic advisor is for. They typically say, you know, here's your list of classes. And you'll notice that Kahlil said in one of his perks is that you get preferred schedules. So what happens is that classes have a certain capacity, just like at Langston Hughes. So if there's only allowed to be 30 students in that classroom and you're too late to sign up, then you don't get the class. But Kahlil, I think, is saying that if he's a student, he gets to choose the classes regardless, or like you get to go first. How does that work, Kahlil?
Yeah, so just because we're trying to balance our schedule with athletics, we get preferred choosing for classes, so we'll get the first choice in trying to fulfill these classes. I think it's us and seniors are the first ones to fill out our schedules.
Tia, was there something similar for you?
Yeah, we just had priority registration, so that means we just get to pick classes first because they do fill up fast. So if you can't get into a class you need, you have to wait till next semester.
Yeah, and the smaller the school you go to, the more difficulties you have. Me being an example, my small school, basically there's times like seniors get to register first, then juniors, then sophomores, then freshmen. Um, and so going, if you go to a smaller school, it's sometimes harder to get the classes you need because there's less opportunity. Whereas with larger schools, there's more teachers with larger classes. Which brings me to a question. What's the largest class you've been in?
Uh, oh, okay, yeah. The largest class I've been in was probably like 350 students in a lecture hall. It could have been a little bit more, but yeah, for some of the core classes you need to take at Tech, freshman year definitely, they can get quite large.
Oh, my largest class was definitely one of the general classes. Um, I don't. It's probably like 150 to 200, so pretty large. It was in like a lecture hall, so where there's all those seats and they're all filled up.
So like
So
in the movies, right?
yeah, exactly like in the movies.
Whereas I went to a small school and the largest class I ever had was probably maybe 30 kids, and the smallest class I ever had was 5. Um, so that's just the difference between choosing a larger school and choosing a smaller school. No one's ever heard of mine. You don't get athletic scholarships, but I chose it for the size. I wanted small classes. I've even met in professors' houses. I've had professors cook meals for class. Like, have you guys had any personalized opportunities like that?
Um, I don't know about any professors, but like donors of our team will like cook for the team and stuff. But I don't think, no, I don't think any professors have done that yet. At least for me.
Yeah. Yeah, after home games and some away games, we'll have just all the parents food, which is nice. I always like free food.
Like, do you have to say you're going to study math to take a math class? Is that your question? No, like it's kind of like middle school and high school. Um, like you have your core classes, right? Like you guys still took English, biology, math, even though, Tia's studying law, she still has to take math, correct?
Yeah, for a general requirement. Like there's general classes that everyone on campus has to take. And then there's classes that you have to take for your major before you graduate in order to graduate. So you can take whatever you want, like whatever class you want, but as long as you fulfill those requirements before you graduate.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it kind of goes throughout the years. Like your freshman and sophomore year, you take a lot of general classes like English, math, science, not necessarily related, and you take one or two classes in your content area. And then as you get into your junior and senior year, you take more of like all law classes. So like Tia and Kahlil, what are you doing now? Are you doing mostly like law or real estate, or are you still doing some general education classes?
Yeah, so I'm taking a majority of just real estate classes at this rate, and then also a little bit of property management classes. I think I'm taking maybe one elective course next semester, but I got the majority of those prereqs done freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah, same with me. I got all my prereqs done freshman, and like in the summers we had to go to campus, so summers helped a lot. But I'm done with my psychology major classes, so I'm just now taking criminal justice classes. So that's like law, public policy, ethics, all those classes.
So prereq means like the prerequisite class before you take the next one. Like you can't go and take calculus without taking pre-calculus or other classes. I like how Kahlil mentioned he had the strategy of like when he didn't pass calculus, he went back. He's like, well, let me go back to the foundations and do pre-calculus, then calculus. So prereq means, hey, you have to have this class before taking this class. All right, we'll leave them some thank yous in the chat box, please. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you all for watching and learning more about college. I hope now maybe you're more excited and more motivated to start learning how to make better grades now and keep track of your GPA. I taught you how to calculate your GPA back in October, but if you need more help on calculating your GPA again, please talk to your teacher or talk to a friend that's in AVID. There's still opportunity to get into 8th grade AVID, as I mentioned in the video, or possibly 9th grade AVID. Let me know if you need help or if you want to get in. Your teachers and counselors are here to help you too. Good luck, and I know you're going to do something once you graduate from high school.